I'd like to get into the venture capital space. What resources do you recommend to get some experience? Volunteer or do a fellowship or internship at a venture capital firm? Yeah, it's a great question. So, the first thing I'll say about venture capital is that it's not, you don't, first of all, you don't make as much money as people think. And when you do, it takes a long time because venture capital cycles are brutal. It's like real estate, but worse because you can't get out of positions. And so you get paid every 10 or 15 years or so. And so I have a very good friend who's a senior partner at the largest venture capital firm in the world. And he finally just got his first bonus check recently. And he was there for like 10 or 15 years. So it's hard. The top 10 firms make the most, and especially the number one firm, which is Sequoia. Now, if you work hard and you network aggressively and you get a job at a venture capital firm, you won't be able to advance and become partner unless you can sit on boards. And a lot of times, founders of companies that you want to invest in, they won't select you to sit on their board if you don't have startup experience, like you haven't started a company before. And the reason is because when you're in the thick of it, the battles of business and whatnot, and sitting on a board, the founder's going to ask you for advice. And so whenever I've sat on boards, and I've sat on lots of them, I see myself as a prosthetic extension of the management team. I feel like I work for them. Yes, I have a fiduciary duty to report to my investors how the company is doing if I can disclose it. But I want to be able to help as much as I can. And so without having startup experience, having succeeded and failed or both at startups, it's a lot harder to win deals and to be able to sit on boards. And so what ultimately happens is if you network aggressively and you get that coveted job in venture capital, if you don't have startup experience, there'll be like a glass ceiling. You won't be able to progress enough. Yeah. So I recommend doing venture capital if you want to, when you're older or after and maybe you've already started a couple companies. But I recommend doing it after you've started several companies as well. So you can help the entrepreneur grow their business. Yeah. Now, in terms of learning more about the industry, there's a great website called VentureBeat. It's probably the only one I'd really recommend. And if you go to VentureBeat, you can just read articles on big venture deals, etc. And search for my name if you want. I've written a bunch of columns there as well, which is fun. Yeah.